So just remembering to hire carefully because listen, who you let in the room with you, it matters then how fast you grow. Because if you bring in the wrong person, it could actually stunt your growth. On this episode, part two of Business 101, the do's and don'ts of running a business and also selling a business. You don't want to miss this one, so tune in. Reinvention's not cute. Whoever said that is crazy. They're nuts, okay? Because it's chaotic, it's uncomfortable, but it also is kind of liberating, if I'm being honest, which that's what we do here. I'm Christina Rumbly. I'm a serial reinventionist, and I have done everything you can imagine, all the way from being a pop star to becoming a professional songwriter. From that, business entrepreneur, leading 250 employees, then selling my companies to where I am today. This is Reinventing Rumbly, and that's what we do here. But we're inappropriately appropriate, of course. So now it's time to reinvent. So let's get to it. Hey guys, it's me, your host, Christina Rumbly, Reinventing Rumbly. And hey, listen, this is the continuation of our talk about Business 101. It's the part two. Be sure to watch the first part from last week. Don't miss that one because that's really important. And we're flowing into the second part, starting to run your business. And then we're going to go through selling your business. So the first do when you're running a business is know that systems are always going to beat the hustle, right? Systems set you free. We talked about it before. I'm telling you again. Standard operating procedures, SOPs, training, and repeatable processes. Why? Because your time should be spent on your business, not always so much in your business. A lesson I had to learn, and it was so painful. And Alana and I were just in our business so much that we weren't always working on it because you have a finite amount of time. And those SOPs, getting that training locked in and that repeatable process is so important because you're going to lose people that you hired. They love you, but they're moving on. They move out of state. How are you retraining that front desk person or that person answering the phone or that ice cream scooper or that salon attendant or whatever, fill in the blank? If you have SOPs that you stand on and that your brand stands on and the training is locked in and you can repeat it over and over, it's going to trim down the cost of training people, but it's also going to keep things aligned with your culture that you set up from the beginning. Hustle's not a strategy. It's almost like it's a must as an entrepreneur, hustle and grit. If you don't have hustle and grit, don't open a business. If you don't have a natural hustle mentality and grit to do anything and everything you got to do, legally, of course, hopefully appropriate, of course, is always to be hustling. So it's not a strategy. Strategy is we're going to create these SOPs. We're going to hire within 3 months. We're going to do this. We're going to execute this. That's strategy. But hustle is a mentality. Grit is a mentality. It's a personality almost. And you got to have both. And then I would say the next one that I find to be possibly the most important, hire right and hire carefully. Have you ever heard the phrase hire slow, fire fast? There's a reason why successful entrepreneurs follow this rule. Not all, but some do, a lot do. Fair, firm, and consistent. It's very important. You always want to be fair, firm, and consistent with employees and contractors and people that you work with that work for your company and your business. But you want to hire carefully. You're going to kiss some frogs. You're going to hire people that you think are your jam. Don't promise too much. Don't hand over equity too quickly from your company. Don't hand over profitability until you're profitable. Make sure you know your business before you start handing it out to those that you don't know that well. Hire for the position. Don't hire from the resume either. And then the other part that's really hard for me is don't hire for personality always either. God, that used to get me. I'm an HR nightmare. Just so we're clear, HR people, they love me, hate me. Why? As a business owner, because I talk like I talk. Yes, I've had to wear the cloak and the hat of being very professional and going on the In on Biltmore estate and having to wear that, the pearls, if you will. Pull my hair back. But as I used to say, my business partner and I, she wore the pearls, I wore the choker. I mean, I was definitely more cutthroat. I'm more rogue. I'm more wild card than her. And she could temper it to be more gentle and a little bit more organized in the way she spoke. It was a perfect combo. Her and I were a yin and a yang. But when it's just yourself, or if you have a business partner, let's say, and you're the other side, you're Alana in my yin and yang little circle, you have to know that you're going to hire people and you're going to train them and you're going to give them all this experience. You're going to be so excited and they're going to leave. Or you're going to hire someone, you're going to have to fire them. Do yourself a favor. And we learned this the hard ways. When someone tells you to put them out of their misery because they're just so miserable or they're so stressed out, listen to them because it's not going to get much better. Now I know people let their hair down, and especially if you're the kind of owner or boss like me, I'm a hey, margarita Mondays, let's go. I don't even drink, but let's take the team out, pizza or whatever. But sometimes that's not what people need or want. They want more time with their family. So they want to not feel compelled to have to do that. Or what is your culture? What are you setting? What do you set up from the beginning? And how do you stay consistent in that? But just make sure you're hiring as best you can because it is so stressful when you hire wrong. And again, you kiss the frogs. You don't know they're wrong because people are on their best behavior. It's like dating. You never know that he doesn't put the toilet seat down and doesn't put the toothpaste thing on or that he burps, inappropriately at dinner or whatever it is. Whatever it is, you won't know that until you're in it. So just plan accordingly and try not to take it personally. And it's hard not to because, you want to hire because you like the person. They sold you the bill of goods and you bought it hook, line, and sinker. And then maybe they weren't right, or it just wasn't the right fit. What if they get in the company and they realize, well, this is a lot more work than I expected? Or what if you realize you're growing faster than you thought and they're not able to do the kind of travel that is expected now? Sometimes you outgrow a role or the company can outgrow you. Just have patience with that. Because listen, one wrong hire, it's an expensive endeavor. You hire someone wrong, I mean, the average I think they said was $8,600 per company per employee for training, typically, depending on the industry. Multiply that times 10 in a year, there's your profit gone. So, and if you need to hire a recruiting firm or an HR, fractional HR, or an HR admin in your company to help you with this, depending on how fast you're growing and what the size is, might be a great spend. Could be the best money you ever spent. It could also save you a ton of money as well. So just remembering to hire carefully because listen, who you let in the room with you, it matters then how fast you grow. Because if you bring in the wrong person, it could actually stunt your growth. So word to the warning and the wise. Be mindful of that. Your third do in running a business that I think is important is protect your energy. I used to say a lot of times, like, there's a physical and energetic environment in a business, right? Let's just tackle the energetic environment. We'll go there because this is pertinent to what we're talking about. Energetic environment is I go into your business place, again, whatever it is. I keep going pizza store, ice cream store, a knitting factory place, a widget company, a skincare company, a spa, a salon, a kid's daycare, an adult daycare, like whatever the business is, because again, business is business is business, but there is a feel to each business. There is a culture fit. There is almost like an unspoken rhythm and nuance to a business. Your energy, your energetic energy is a critical component of your company. What's your energetic energy when you walk in your business? Are you exhausted, overworked? Everybody can feel it. Do you come in the business negative? I did this once. I walked in. I used to be the schlepper. I was the grocery shopper because we had to get bottled water for everybody and trail mix and nuts and chocolates. And then I needed to get paper towels, like 5,000 rolls of paper towels. This is before Amazon, just so we're clear. Amazon was still a bookstore with Bezos in his garage or wherever he was. So this is before you could just like DoorDash or Instacart. Like this was real when I was unloading my minivan parked in a non-parked spot getting tickets because my hazards were on and I was trying to run in with 15 bags and I looked like a homeless person because I was all disheveled walking in the spa with all the shit. And I'd walk in and I mean, the team would be like, oh, the energy that I would bring into that spa. My business partner said it was like a bat out of hell. I walk in and huffing and puffing and like a bull in a china store, just knocking shit over with the bags because I'm trying to do it in one quick. I'm trying to get it all like you do when your groceries in the house. That's what I was doing in the spa. There are guests sitting in robes, and I'm like, hi, oh, hello, sorry, don't mind me. And then as I'd walk past, I'd see a therapist and I'd roll my eyes. What the fuck was I what? Because I was annoyed because I had to wait. I had to go get all the stuff. I had to lift it. I had to bring it in the spa. I just spent $200. All the things. Oh, after dropping off my daughter who was griping because she left her homework. I mean, list it up. But my CEO energy was just putting a major wet napkin on everyone's excitement. I was Debbie Downer sometimes walking in because I was frustrated. But here's the catch. When you're the owner and you're the CEO, you don't get to have that. I mean, you can, but things suffer for it. I'm not saying be fake. Never. I'm not saying be fake. But what I'm saying is be mindful of the energetic environment and what you're bringing to the table at the platter. What are you bringing a poo-poo platter? Mm-hmm. Right? Are you bringing in all your stuff, but yet the staff, hey, leave it at the door, but I don't, right? I've had spa clients who would, get consulting from me and business consulting where they were like, I don't understand why the front desk is so rude or disrespectful about blah, 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 blah. And then I got to go to that location and sit and observe. And I watched. I watched an owner walk in flip-flops, which she wasn't in Florida. No excuse there. It was kind of cold outside. So I was like, And she had in her mind this elevated spa that she thought she was running. But she came in a little like I did, bat out of hell, flip-flops, kind of dressed down, chewing gum, talking loud, and then wondered why her spa front desk were acting accordingly. They were mimicking behavior. So when they would roll their eyes at a guest after they walked by because the guest was maybe a little too snarky to them, or the guest was asking for a refill of water and they're just like, right? Like, do you do that? Are they mimicking? So just keeping in check. That's a culture. I mean, that's a whole nother podcast is about culture. And we'll probably end up tackling that at some point, but it's so important. And people hire people to work on the culture of a company because culture can make or break a company. It can make or break the success of a company because you can feel it when you walk in the room. And look, it's hard. It's hard when you get a bad hire in there or a bad manager in there, or even sometimes an owner that needs to be shooken up a little bit. It's a hard conversation to have. And I've had them with owners and I've had them with staff before. So just know that as a CEO or an owner of the business, your energy is a business asset. So how are we treating that asset? What are you doing to cultivate that asset? Are you working on it? Are you working on your energy? And that means also being low energy or too high of energy too. You also don't want to go into an environment that's calm and chill and be like, because then everyone else is going to feel like they need to do that. No, that's not right. So again, you're teaching every time you're in that space. People are watching you and it sucks sometimes and it can be very lonely at the top. But if it's your company, the buck stops with you. You are who they are emulating and imitating. Do you like what you see? And if you don't, you either figure out how to fix that, work on them, give them the tools, or you invite them to explore other options elsewhere. Hire slow, fire fast. And I've not always followed my own advice in that because I like the person. Gosh, who's going to open the door? Ooh, I need that. It's painful sometimes, but sometimes it's the most necessary thing. If you've got a business that is stagnant or suffering, before you throw the baby out with the bathwater and close the business, you might want to do an internal dive and see what's going on in the business. Just saying. Your nervous system as an owner and CEO also is part of that P&L. We said that you're an asset, your energy is an asset. Look at it like that. Your nervous system, how you are, how you're being is part of your P&L. So keep it in check and just recognize it, own it, and work on it if you need to fix it and tweak it. Okay. So with the do's with running a business, there's also don'ts. There's don'ts. What are we not going to do? What do we don't do? Don't confuse being busy with profitable. Busy, 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 busy doesn't mean money, money, money. You can run yourself ragged. You can be, we're so busy. We're cranking. If you aren't controlling your expenses and driving enough revenue to match, meet, exceed those expenses, you're not profitable. So what are you really doing? Do we have a business for write-offs? Could be. Okay, that's one thing. Do we have a business to keep yourself busy because you're bored? A lot of people do that. Some people have a business just to keep themselves employed because they need a job. Okay. But if you want to build a business that has sustainability and that you possibly could sell one day, or what's your point of having it? And that's who I'm really talking to, is you want to make sure you're not just a busybody to be busy. You want profitability. It's critical. That's the reason why small businesses are there. It's not a nonprofit. You're talking for profit. So growth without margins equals stress. So you could be growing and growing, but you're not making any money. You're just adding more stress. I can't tell you how many times we did that. We would grow and we were growing to grow our portfolio. But if that spa or that business wasn't successful, or financially it was a downer and a pulling down the others, it took us a long time sometimes to cut that one loose because we felt like it would hurt our reputation and all that fun stuff. So just remember, profitability is king. It's what talks. Cash is king, and it will set you free when it comes to business. A second don't I would tell you is don't avoid hard conversations. God, I hate them, but they are a necessary evil. Whether you're talking and renegotiating with a landlord, you're talking to the credit card merchant fees, and you're having to negotiate. Sometimes you have to be hard and firm, but fair, firm, and consistent. Always. Those are the three of them. Fair, firm, consistent. So I would say for you, if you delay having that hard conversation, look at it like money. You're burnt. Just take money and burn it. Why? Because hard conversations, I'd say healthy conflict, are critical to being an entrepreneur that has sight, vision, and clarity to execute what it is that's needed to run your business. Period. If you can't have hard conversations or be able to let someone go, as difficult as that can be, and really know how to, if you know how to ignite passion in people, you've also got to know how to have that hard conversation, but you can do it with love and compassion at the same time. And that's a gift, and it is a challenge for a lot of people. And I'd encourage you, if that is where you are and you avoid confrontation, you don't like conflict, have somebody that can help you with that, because you will inevitably have that no matter what in business. You will have confrontation and conflict. And sometimes it'll make you have an ulcer because you can't handle it. It's so upsetting. It's not your DNA to be confrontational, let's say. But you don't have to be confrontational and be a jerk. You can be fair, firm, and consistent. Avoiding decisions is still a decision. Let that one simmer for a hot minute. If you avoid to do something, you're making a decision to avoid. So just make the decision to have the confrontation or the conflict resolution, right? Because you're already avoiding, and that's a decision too. It's the easier decision for sure, but you don't get into business for ease. You get into business because you have a drive and a passion for something. Let that passion guide you and make sure that it aligns with your culture and everything. And if you've got to get rid of something or someone, or something's not serving that business and it doesn't speak to the greater good, time to let it go. Time to have that conversation. And then thirdly, when it comes to running a business, don't lose your why. Why'd you begin? What problem were you solving? Remember in the beginning? Don't lose your why. What's your passion for? Because when you're starting to lose your why, burnout ensues. It's inevitable. It happens. We all burn out. We all need to have a little respite, need to get a restart, a recharge. That's why all these companies sometimes do a nice little charrette where they all get together and they have we're going to put together our strategy for the year, and they have that, end of the year meeting where they kind of get together and go over what went wrong and what went right. That is great. That's strategic planning. And when your company ends up growing, you're going to need to have those in place because you'll burn out if you don't. And burnout comes from misalignment. So if you're starting to falter and get away from your vision, well, what's the vision? Have you done your vision, missions, and goal? Probably should have done that, hopefully, back in the beginning when you're starting your business, because everything aligns back to that. So, again, running a business, you got your dues. System is always going to beat the hustle, right? SOPs, training, making sure that you can redo this process over and over again because it keeps your time in check. Because now you can let someone else maybe train somebody, or you have the SOP in an employee handbook that helps train people. You're going to hire carefully. You're going to hire slow, fire fast, and you're going to protect your energy because that energetic energy and that energetic environment, you want to protect that. And then the don'ts, right? Don't confuse busy with profitability. Doesn't mean you're profitable if just because you're busy. Don't avoid hard conversations, and don't lose your why. Because I think when you lose your why, you lose your focus and your point, and you can start to become disenfranchised with your own potential franchise. That should be a t-shirt. Maybe. I don't know. Couple stats, like I like to tell you every once in a while. Let's just throw in a quick little statty poo. 82% of businesses fail due to cash flow mismanagement. 82% fail because they ain't got enough cash. So what did I say in the beginning? Find a banker, get a good friend banker, let them know. And when you don't need money, get a loan. Because when you need money, it is very difficult. Example, we had to get a line of credit, $400,000 line of credit. Why? Because we were fronting payroll. Our payroll was like $300,000 every 2 weeks. It was stressing us out. And it was like an ocean wave. It would come in and then it would leave. And then we get our money in and it would go away. So we got a HELOC, like a line of credit on our business. And we were able to borrow against our business. Best thing we ever did, because the pain and stress of making payroll every 2 weeks was giving me an ulcer and my business partner. It was awful. But then when we got the line of credit and we knew we were consistently bringing in that revenue and we could count on it, we did the numbers and we were being smart about it. It was the best loan we ever got because it was a low APR and we could borrow against it. And then we never had to stress about payroll until COVID hit. But that's another whole ball game and something I don't want to relive in this moment while we're talking about it. Also, founders burn out 2 times as fast as the corporate rate. So when you're in a corporation and you're in a corporate environment, and let's say you're part of the directors or C-suite or management, business owners, we burn out 2 times as fast. Why? Because everything lands on us. The electric bill, the marketing, the rent, the this, the that. When you're in a corporate situation, yes, your employees, you could be the CEO of a corporation, you feel that stress. But again, it's typically not your money. When it's your money and your mortgage that you're not paying, but you're paying your payroll, those are some sleepless nights. So kudos to entrepreneurs for being able to have the wherewithal and the strength and the thicker epidermal layer. Yeah. We have to be thick-skinned because it's going to get you. You're going to have the burnout hit you, and it will. And businesses with systems, they scale 30 to 50% faster than businesses that do not have systems in place. So remember that when you're talking about, what do I want to do with this business? So let's go to our last part of this, which is selling a business, right? So you're going to start one, you have an idea for one. Then you want to run the business. Now you want to sell the business, right? Exit strategy. So there's some do's in there that I've kind of put together. The do's, from my perspective, you build it to sell. Like we talked about it from the beginning, you build to scale, you build to sell, even if you end up not selling it. But you want to build it like you're going to sell it. Why? You have cleaner financials that way. Leadership. Your leadership that you choose in the leadership team, if you're looking from the lens always of, I want to sell this one day, you may change how you pick leadership then because you want the leadership to stay. That's the hope and the goal. And if you're an owner, independent operator, you need to make sure that you can operate that business without you being inside it. Like we just talked about, right? If you can't step away from it, it owns you. You don't own it. So, how do you build it to be able to step away from it? Because nobody really wants to buy a business that if you get plucked out of it or you're gone, the business fails. My husband, Stratton Design Group. He owns his business. He's the guy. His name is on that door. He won't be able to sell that business because it's him. He's the guy. He's got employees, but at the end of the day, he's the talent. And that's the kind of business that he wanted to create. It's a choice. But he won't have something to sell when it comes time for him to hang the hat because he seems to believe he'll never stop working. I told him, I said, listen, better take your ginkgo because you're going to lose your mind one day. Hopefully not, but it's important to know what is that exit strategy. And if you are planning on exiting or selling it one day, build it like you're selling it. Be able to operate it without you. The best time to prepare to sell a company is the day you start. I know that sounds counterintuitive, right? Because you're so excited about it. But just keep thinking from the lens of, hey, what if I wanted to sell this? Is it worth anything? Would I be able to sell it? That's the question. The second do is know what you're selling, right? Are you selling systems? Are you selling a brand? Are you selling people, services, the people that you've created, which is your talent, your team? Are you selling intellectual property, IP? Are you selling a platform? What is it that you're selling exactly? Because that all has a value to it, right? For us, if you're selling a spa or a spa portfolio, you're really selling the contracts and the people and your IP because we didn't own all of them, or it would have been just straight up brick and mortar and we would have been bought from those. But we sold our contracts, if you will, and they took our team, including us. That's what we sold. Um, the third do in all of this, I believe, is get the right advisors. We thought we had the right advisors. I think they all had good intentions, but I feel that we could have had more protections in place. We could have had better advisement for what if it goes bad? What if something changes? What if they don't do this or they do something that we were worried about they did and they end up doing it? Where's our protection? We could have fought harder. We could have, but we didn't know. So what we don't know, we don't know. Interview people, financial advisors, you want legal advisors, and you're going to need emotional support. Let me tell you, when you go to sell your company, the emotional quotient that no one told me about, dude, I wish someone had said to me, you need to really understand that how you're going to feel with the loss, the what now is so real. I needed to have that. I needed a therapist during the process, after, probably before as well. I should have had therapy forever. But I say that because the reality is it is emotional. This is your baby. You've poured everything into this. Whether you did it for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, it's going to have a toll. And what's that toll going to look like? You need to have a support mechanism. Here's some don'ts for you when you are selling your business. Do not let ego run the deal. Don't let your ego get in the way. A lot of times, the highest offer doesn't mean it's the right offer or the best offer. Might not be. Sometimes the highest offer is could be dangerous. So just keep an eye on that. You know what I mean? Don't always go with the best first bid. Be prepared to fight for what you deserve, but also know if it's the right fit. Is it the right culture fit for your company? And would you want to stay in that company? What if they don't keep you? Then what? What do you do? Look, don't ignore identity loss. That's what I was talking about earlier. The what now is real. So that's a don't. Do not ignore it. Acknowledge it and work through it because it's going to happen. Selling a business can feel like a breakup because it is. Even when it's right, even if it's perfect, even if you had to sell, still feels like a breakup, a divorce, and everything that is done and gone and over. You have to have some healing from that. Unless you're like, oh, phew, God, it's gone. Water off my back. That's a different story too. Then you were ready to get out. And that means kudos for you. You walked away unscathed. I'm sure there's plenty of stories you could tell. It's interesting because it does feel like you lose a part of yourself. And maybe that's so that you can be humbled enough that your ego can get in check and then you move on to your next adventure. Thus, here we are reinventing. Yeah. So that's me. That was my way of saying, you know what I'm saying? Without saying it, I went, yeah, don't know what that is. And if anyone's listening on the podcast, they couldn't even see my face go, you know. So, a couple stats on that 20 to 30% of businesses actually are able to be sold, that are actually sellable. So, only 20 to 30% have something to really sell. So, are you in that? Will you be in that? Or are you going to be in one that can't sell? So, then what are we doing? Then you might be creating a legacy company. And that was a choice. Perfect. Not a problem. An empire. Great. Or you just want to have it until you're done. Then you're just going to close the door, shut the key, done. Okay. That's a decision as well. But just know that 20 to 30% of businesses are sellable. The rest, not so much. And most founders regret not preparing sooner. Why? Because when it's time to sell, it's a mad dash and it can take 6 months to a year, sometimes even longer. And so you need to be prepared, right? You don't want to start trying to lean your company right when you're going to go sell it. They're going to see that. They smell it. It's like you can see that a mile away. You also don't want to be desperate because then you're going to take the first bid and then you could be in trouble. Because what if your company's worth more than that? So watch yourself. Get your back covered. You know what I mean? Have the support. Have a business coach or a consultant. Spend the money. It's worth it if you get someone good. I'm not saying me because who knows? I may say, don't do it, or I may say, go for it. Sounds like a great idea. Who knows? But just trust your gut, trust your instincts, and then also get some backup for those instincts. You need to have someone that's been there, done that, or someone that can at least help you through some of the roller coaster ride that you will be on. It's exciting. It's fun. It's scary too, but it also is enlightening and it changes your life in a good and bad way sometimes. So it's a risk, it's a gamble. But anyone that's an entrepreneur is a gambler by nature, anyways, because you're gambling on yourself. You're betting on you. Whether you went to college or you didn't go to college, whether you're a stay at home mom or you're a divorced woman or man, or you're widowed, it doesn't matter. The stories are all different and everybody's got the same idea of the drive. They wanted to make an impact and do something spectacular. That's how it starts. It's an idea, it's a thought, it's a glimmer of hope. It's the light at the end of your tunnel. So I will wrap this up by telling you business it's a tool, right? I mean, it is. It's not your identity. And a lot of us make our business our identity. So that's why when you do sell it or you let it go or you're done with it, there's a little bit of an identity crisis because who am I? So maybe start working on that if you are looking at selling your business. That's some advice I'd give you on a personal note. Know who you are without that business and maybe without that business partner too. Who are you and what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do, even when you're 52? So that's it from me. A little business 101 out of my brain to yours. Whether you liked it or not, I'm giving it to you loud and proud. And, the reality is we're all just here. We get one shot at this life. What do you want to do with this life? And your story is interesting and inspiring and exciting. So be sure to share your story with me. Are you starting a business? Are you thinking about one? Are you in the middle of running it and want to pull your hair out? Or are you loving it? It's amazing and everything I said is BS. Call me out on it. I don't care. Let's talk about it. Are you going to sell your business? Are you scaling it? Are you opening more? Are you thinking about doing that? What are you doing in your world? Let me know. Reinventingrumbly@gmail.com. That's my email address. Make sure to send me a little note. I'd love to hear your story. And don't forget to keep subscribing, watching, give us a review. 5 stars, always lovely. We love it. But we appreciate you coming back every single week. Every Wednesday, we drop a new episode, whether it's a real episode like this, full and amazing, or we do a not so deep thoughts because we like to have a little fun too. But I love having you guys back here every week. Thanks again for supporting this beautiful reinvention community. And I will see you on the flip side next week. And hey, we're always reinventing. You are never too old to reinvent. So come and join this windy road we call life.